Our story begins with a naval ship rolling up on a mountain. They realize after continued fire that their weapons are worthless and not doing any damage to the enemies.
I'm frightened and I don't know what to do. I'm confused and I want to go home.
At this point, they can only rely on the hunters to defend them. On the island, we see a sorcerer fighting some fire ants. The hunters must have walked into the ants' cafeteria because the ants are on their big back energy right now. The ants start to overwhelm the hunters and begin to feast on their bodies. Not Vegeta pops up and starts giving the ants some hands. Not Vegeta runs into a super white ant and tries to fight it 2v1. He rips the arms off the ants and throws them through their stomach like a javelin through paper mache. Out of nowhere, the ants pull up like stormtroopers, confronting Not Vegeta. Not Vegeta decides to power up and starts fighting off the army of ants. We cut to a random guy with glasses leading his army against the ants. We know he's important because he pushes up his glasses with just his index finger. Now we know good and well that his troops are not gonna survive this encounter. The ants were literally chewing up some hunters like a gummy bear.
Kicking a little bit.
Brother,
Anyway though, we learned that the magic portals started showing up producing these magic beasts. Ordinary weapons don't do any damage against these mobs. When the mobs started popping up, humans started awakening and getting their abilities to fight back. Everyone gets a rank between S rank and E rank. No matter how long they train though, they can't move up into a higher rank. We are introduced to Jin Woo. He's an E rank hunter who's pretty much used as a mule. That's messed up. They literally gave my boy the title, the weakest hunter alive. Jin overhears the squad saying he's the carry of the team when Jui pulls up on him. Jui, Jinwoo's potential waifu, wants Jinwoo to be more careful because he keeps catching L's in these dungeons. The squad groups up and heads into the dungeon. We cut to Chairman Go and his assistant who gives us some random exposition on magic beasts and essence stones. Essence stones are super valuable and the administration wants their cut. We cut back to Jinwoo who gets impaled by a sword. Fortunately for him, Mr. Get Out on Feet comes in to save the day. Chairman Go talks about mana crystals and how important they are for power sources. Only hunters can collect gems due to them spawning from magic beasts. We cut back to our squad who finished the battle against the beast. Jui heals our boy up after being shish kebabbed by a goblin. The squad discovers a giant hole at the end of the dungeon. They figure out it's a double dungeon, a rarity in the dungeons. The group decides to put it to a vote on if they're actually going to enter the second part of the dungeon. Now let's all keep in mind though, that their lives are at risk here. They ain't really better than me, because if I didn't want to go to the second part of the dungeon, I'm hitting the team with the escape rope. Now the team comes down to a tie, with Jinwoo becoming the tiebreaker, being the sole provider for his family, and the person responsible for his mother and sister vote yes to go to the next part of the dungeon. We cut to a guild doing a test to find out what ranks the humans are. S-rank hunters are high commodities, so any guild is willing to pay top dollar for them. Randomly, we were treated to a montage of this totally not important S-rank hunter saving the day and returning a purse. She leaves the scene, but not before showing off her Mario abilities. Jinwoo gets harassed more by his waifu. In true waifu spirit, she asks him to take him out to dinner, knowing good and well Jinwoo is broke. We find out that Captain Go is the president of the Hunter Association. He's having a Zoom call with the newly awakened hunters, telling them that 10 years ago, the gates started showing up. He explains that it's a dangerous job, but somebody gotta do it. So if you're not built for this, you're welcome to leave. Our party arrives at the end of the dungeon, and it's just a circle room with a bunch of statues sitting around. The group starts getting confused when they realize they don't see any treasure chest or magic beasts. The leader of the squad starts reading some scriptures on the wall. After finishing the scripture, the door slams shut. One of the hunters decides to leave the party to go home, but gets cut off by the statue. Jinwoo's eyes start swirling, realizing that they had no business going into this part of the dungeon. His life starts flashing before his eyes. He recalls the times that he's got injured in the past, and he can't afford weapons, and his shoes got holes in them. Jinwoo is literally the bottom tier in human form. One by one, the squad gets killed off, and Jui starts crying on the ground, and Jinwoo starts to give up hope as the screen fades to black. That's the end of episode 1. I'm loving the concept of the episode, and we really have no idea how our boy is going to get out this situation. I like that it's a reverse isekai, and I love that my boy already got a waifu in episode 1. I love to see where we end up, And if you made it this far, go ahead and leave me a like. And if you want to see more recaps like this, hit the subscription button. I love y'all, and make sure y'all drink some water today.